little trippy. Great speech last night, my friend. Great speech. Let people tune in. Welcome, folks. Hail to our chief. Hail to our chief. You know what? Let's just I don't know. Let's get a little more of that. Let's get a little more of that for a minute. Let people tune in a little more. How you doing, Mary? Oh, is that the train that was in the accident? I saw that on the TV. We're gonna have to look into that. We'll look into that. I saw the train wreck. I didn't realize they had wrecked Republicans. That's me. More suspicious. Wearing my Christmas hat, you guys. Wearing my Christmas hat. Because last night's speech was like Christmas. Like Christmas in January. So, we're just going to have to, we'll have to, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, wow, now it's playing Anchor's Way. Watch stuff is, it kind of went away. It kind of got a hold of me here all the time. Da, 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 da. That was not me. I was trying to fade out. That was buffering. Buffering did that. Yes, so, that sucks, you guys. That sucks. You know, we're gonna have to, I saw actually the coverage on the television, but, I was eating some breakfast at a little diner. So, they didn't have the volume on. And they weren't talking about the nature of the train, who was on. They didn't have any checks. It was, we didn't. So I'll definitely, once we're done, I'm going to talk about the State of the Union. And it didn't seem like anybody, like it seemed everybody's walking around okay. They had a lot of injuries. Like I saw the train, and I've seen worse train wrecks. So it didn't look as bad as some I've seen. So that was my first impression. The first impression I saw was that it kind of looked like, it kind of looked like everybody might have been okay. So, yes, Janet, it is a sad day for the left. It's a sad day for the Democratic left. So bad, so bad. You're watching, as of course, Trump Talk US. I'm going to share as we start up the show. I'm wearing my Santa hat. Because Christmas in January, because of that beautiful speech, and the liberals are in, they don't know what to do with themselves. Did you see them last night? Like how much they did not know what to do with themselves? It was absolutely ridiculous. Nancy Pelosi trying to keep everybody in their seats. Now we got to reload this page so it'll, it was ridiculous. All their faces, their little faces. Luis Gutierrez, who had to like storm out. He had to storm out of the event. I hope he just had to go to the bathroom. That was ridiculous. I don't think that was necessary at all. See, there we go. Mary, thank you. No serious injuries among members of Congress or their staff. Hopefully, or of the train staff. However, I think that the guy, if there was a guy in the truck that the train hit, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't sustain some injury. I would be surprised if he did not sustain some injuries, because I saw the truck. It was a little messed up. So, let's see what we'll see. We'll find out what that is. We'll find out what that is. Absolutely fantastic speech last night. I was actually, Alex and I went down. They had, of course, all of the routes downtown were very difficult. Very difficult to get around. Mary says, one fatality, no idea who it was yet. Might have been that driver. I mean, I'm serious. If you were in that truck when it got hit, something not good happened to you. I can tell you for free. If you were in that truck, so you were not in a good place. The truck looked bad. It wasn't a good wreck. But I grew up in actually train country. So I have a lot of, we had regular programs in school in Arizona, in Nevada, because there were so many trains. We had regular, like learning assemblies. They would show you a film where you had to learn stuff about whatever. We had a whole train safety one. So we had to learn all about the trains, and we know how dangerous trains can be, especially if something gets across the tracks. The train cannot stop. That's the problem with the train. So it's one of the reasons why we try to have so many safety procedures for trains. But sometimes things happen. There you go. So yes, there was a truck. It hit the truck. Train hit the truck. Truck broke. Probably the truck driver is the one injured. So the train kind of went funk. It didn't really. That's what it looked like on the TV. It kind of went funk. It didn't flip, and there wasn't a super amount of crunching. So there have been worse. From what I have seen with my eyes on the TV, there have been worse. And actually, in person, we had a train wreck in the town I was in when I was a child. So we'll move on. Let's move the Trump train on and talk a little bit more about the State of the Union and how great that was. I was at Trump International last night. The room full of people, all different. They had parties. They had, gatherings going on. They had individuals who had come over from other gatherings. A lot of the people from the DC Young Republicans Party came over to Trump because the DC Young Republicans Party was so full. So good job, you guys, with that work. We're certainly, I keep saying, and I've said this a couple times to people, we Trumpers are what's going to red pill up these blue urban areas, because we're, a lot of my Trump supporter friends were very cosmopolitan, loving the American melting pot kind of people. And so we're the ones making it happen right here. You guys it's actually awesome in DC how many diverse Trumpers there actually are that I'm meeting that you would never know. You'd never know, but it's a great group. So everybody in the Trump International was awesome to watch, actually, the speech with a bunch of, people, particularly people that would support the president, because when they would show the faces of the other, of the Democratic senators and such, Schumer's face, everybody laughed as soon as Chuck Schumer came on the screen in Trump International. They had 3 of the screens with the State of the Union, and then 1 screen with college basketball. So it was a little weird, but that was all right. It just looked like this crowd of people was cheering every time the president would talk. That's what it looked like to me. So when Chuck Schumer came on, everyone in the room cracked up. So that's how much, there's a lot of support there in Trump International. A lot of people there. Don Jr. was there afterwards, after the speech. Obviously, he was at the speech, but we saw him as we were going. So I told him I asked him to tell his father that that was an excellent speech. That was an amazing speech. And he said he certainly would. So we're getting the message. One way or the other, we are getting the message of the speech. Now, I'm trying to pull up. Yeah, good. It happened. Wanted to pull up the speech, because what I loved about what Trump did in the speech is he really talked strongly about, yes, like I said, he talked about progress in the beginning, but he really talked a lot about immigration. He gave no shelter to the Democrats. He didn't sugarcoat it in any way. Everybody was concerned. Yeah, she freaked out. Pelosi freaked out. You're absolutely right, Karen. So everybody, he didn't cave in any way. Everybody thought that, Trump might be in the process of reaching out an olive branch, that he would use this as an olive branch moment to reach out to the Democrats. And what he actually did is he didn't do that. He didn't issue an olive branch. He issued a call to action. That's my president. He issued a call of action to the Democrats to come together on behalf of the American people. And he invoked the people's capital. He said, this monument, this room, such a beautiful moment in the speech. You should all watch it several times. We all need to watch it several times because we have to absorb or read it. We have to read it in some way, get the information in again, because I think I know in person, just watching it myself, it was such an emotional moment. There were so many great moments that it was hard to even keep them all. It was just, the good moments just kept rolling, and it's hard to absorb. So we're looking at it written down so I can, parse out all, but this, so he invoked the Capitol as the monument to the people, and really kind of, yes, Mary, he spanked them a little bit. He spanked them for not putting Americans first. It was, and, he spoke about the Vegas tragedy. He spoke about the floods and the fires, and he spoke about what was Steve Scalise, and the shooting. He spoke about tragic things. He pulled some great moments up, and moments that really, really are important to us. Like the Vegas moment is something that we in the Trump people, we all know there's something going on there, and everybody is certainly convinced that we need to keep talking about the Vegas moment. So does our president. The same way as we, all of us who have faced the radical left in any way, all of us who have experienced the violence of Antifa and these leftists, understand why it's so important that we keep talking about Steve Scalise and his shooting and the political terrorism that it was. So, and so does our president. So those were beautiful moments. And then on top of that, when he brought in Ji Sung-ho, the North Korean defector who came here on crutches, or escaped from North Korea on crutches, and all of the if you watched that moment where he was talking about this young man, you could see on this young man's face his hey Lori, how's it going? How you doing? I'm sure you watch it. Everybody watch it. You can see on this young man's face, the North Korean kid, the real love of liberty, the true understanding of what liberty is when you don't have something, when you have no liberty at all, when you have no ability to provide for yourself, when you live in a culture that is oppressive and violent towards you. And then you're here. And you're in America, and the president of the United States is talking about your bravery and your escape and your freedom. And it's a beautiful thing. And so that was an amazing moment. He had the crutches there. Such an amazing moment. Absolutely loved that. And yet another way that Trump really brought out issues that poke the Democrats. When they had the parents of the two teenagers who were killed by the M13 gang members. Wow, was that powerful, you guys? And exactly the kind of, he didn't just bring some angel moms. He brought two black families who had lost their young people to gang violence. Oh, my president, he's brilliant. And he talked, that's another thing. He went, right after the Democrats talked about black unemployment. He brought up these issues that the Democrats are the ones so busy trying to bring up these issues. And he brought them up, but in ways that demonstrate how he has succeeded with this country. He has succeeded in bringing jobs back. He has succeeded helping the black community, the Hispanic community, where the Democrats have failed again and again and again. And rather than reaching an olive branch, my president literally said, come be Americans with us. It's a call to action to stand together. Yeah, we heard about the train wreck, Leona. We talked about it at the beginning. We'll talk about it again at the end. But so far, just update, one fatality. Everybody, all Congress people and their staff were okay. So probably the guy in the truck. Somebody write that and pin that post so that everyone, when they come in, they're like, oh, we've already talked about the train. Because I know everyone's going to bring it up because it's such a, it's immediate and very suspicious. But yes, didn't that moment touch your heart, Janet? It touched everybody's heart. and there's the Democrats, that they have the gall to sit. It's all right. It's all right, Democrats. You just keep sitting and watch where your votes go. Now, that's one thing I will say, and I want to talk about this for a second. There were several moments in which Democrats actually did stand and actually did applaud, and we need to watch this video. This is serious talk, you guys. We need to watch the footage of this State of the Union and figure out who stood and applauded on what. Okay, because the ones that are standing and applauding are the ones in blue states that Trump won. Probably, I would bet money on it. And they stand up and applaud because they know that if they don't stand for that moment, their constituency back home is going to be mad because they didn't support the veterans. They didn't for whatever it was they didn't stand for. So they stand. And even if Nancy Pelosi was like, you should sit down, they still stood because they know they have to win their elections back home. They know Nancy ain't going to come win the elections for them. That's for damn sure. Excuse my language, but that's just the truth. Nancy isn't going to win it. Nancy isn't going to come win your election. So you don't have to listen to Nancy when you're trying to make sure that you can keep your seat and you can keep your backside in that seat. It's just truth. So we have to hunt out who these standers and clappers are, and then we need to call them, tell them. I know that always cracks me up, Karen. We need to call these Congress people, these senators, the ones that were standing and clapping on these issues, tell them to support the president on immigration reform. Tell them to do it. Tell them to do it. We can put pressure directly on. There's no reason we on the right cannot pressure our Congress people and senators on the left. They're still our Congress people and senators. Yeah. So we can still get on that. We should get on them more because they're doing the wrong thing. We should be calling them and saying, hey, you're the senator of everybody in whatever state you're in, your state. Insert your state here, everybody. So this is something to look at. These are our people. This is how we're going to break the Democrat. What we need to do is the Democrats have been a consistent group of resist. What we need to do, there are cracks now. There are cracks. Last night showed there are cracks in their ball of resist. And we got to get in the cracks. We got to get in the cracks. And we can break the Democrats up from this cabal of leftism. And that will actually help sensible Democrats. That'll actually help the process. When we break their resist, then they have to go back to normal governance again because they have to negotiate with Trump. They have to start coming across. There has to be some bipartisanship, and we can fix it. And I'm not trying to fix Democrats because I think they're worthy of fixing anything. They're horrible, ridiculous people with hate in their hearts. But you know what's better for us than Democrats with hate in their hearts like this is Democrats with hate in their hearts, but more functional and cooperative. So if we can help these sad folks become more cooperative like they used to be before they went on this crazy resist, fist in the air mode, before they went totally communist, we can pull them back over the brink. I really think it would help this country. So let's not write the Democrats off, you guys. Let's actually make them fix themselves by demanding normalcy and function in our government. We demand function. They'll have to come play nice at the table again. That's just how it is. How's it going, Yvette? How's it going? Yeah, I know. Joe Manchin. Look, I said two things. I'm glad you brought up Joe Manchin because I said two things about him today. I said, one, Joe Manchin should probably just become a Republican. But then I said no. I corrected myself. Joe Manchin is exactly what I'm talking about. We need to support these anchors, okay, in the Democratic Party that are more normal Democrats, that are more blue dog, blue collar, Christian type, family values Democrats, not the crazy, transgender bathroom in every school Democrats, but the more normal Democrats. That needs to come back because poor Joe Manchin's out there like on an island by himself. And we literally go, why is he really even a Democrat? He was at the March for Life. I met him at the March for Life. I didn't remember who he was. I recognized his face, so I literally went up and said, hey, I know I recognize your face, but I don't know who you are. And he politely introduced himself. I'm Joe Manchin from West Virginia. And I'm like, of course you are. Thank you for being here. How's it going, Chris? So if you are here, of course, click share, because Zuckerberg has really been slowing me down. We were doing he's halved my numbers this week. I'm going to have to, and we're talking about good stuff. We're going to have to do some, when it warms up a minute. It's been really cold. When it warms up a minute, we got to do some more out on the street stuff. Get everybody excited and jacked up. I did a few really cold out on the street videos recently, and I decided that was unpleasant. So let's look over here back at this. I really appreciate, as I said, there was some, he talked a lot about the economy. That was great. We talked about jobs. We're scrolling in the massive tax cuts. He was, and he stayed on. I can't get lives to play till I go to the person's page. That is really, that's really, see what I'm saying? I see how he's doing. I loved the business owner that hired had the guy and the business owner, showing the tax benefits. Again, another black guy. My president understands that he wants you know what will help the Republicans not lose is being the big tent they actually claim to be, actually being the party of values that they claim to be. Because I'm always told by my Republican friends that no, the Republican Party, we're not about old white dudes. We're about just values. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you work hard and you pay your taxes, you obey the law. We believe in the same things for everybody. And you're like, but then why don't you go talk to those folks and tell them that? Go into these ethnic communities and tell these individuals, hey, we share the same values, vote for us. And they don't do that. They're like, oh, they're going to vote Democrat anyway. And I'm like, see, here's our problem with you. So it's time. This is what we're doing. Trump has done that. Trump literally did that himself, literally went in to our black communities and talked directly to black people, to Hispanic people, talked directly and asked for their vote directly. One of the few Republicans ever that has done that on the presidential stage. I don't know when. It's just a very rare thing. So it is one of the reasons he had such great success and is going to have even greater success in 2020. And it's the way we're going to actually get the Democrats fixed, because we're going to take away their black vote and their Hispanic vote, or at least enough of a margin of it that they can't depend on it anymore, thus crushing their ability to use identity politics. Which is why I'm so proud of my president that even last night in the State of the Union address, he was very smart. How's it going, Mike? He was very smart to involve people, African American, black Americans in his, bringing, he had beautiful ethnic diversity kind of in their face, because they're constantly saying Trump is a racist, and he is such a racist that he literally invited all different ethnicities and nationalities and colors of people to be honored in his State of the Union speech. President Trump. So good. I loved him mentioning the kneeling. I love him talking about we respect the flag. We love all of this. The officer that adopted the kid. So many beautiful moments. And then, of course, he talked about the war on energy, and we've been talking about this a lot. And I know you guys have. We're going to keep talking about it, because it is the sleeper growth factor to the economy that we've barely tapped into. I was just talking with a gentleman yesterday at Trump Tower who his expertise is in the energy industry and in talking with helping build government policy. He's talking with how people are doing that stuff. And I was like, we had a good conversation. I'm like, I talk about this all the time, how this new energy boon that we have coming down by removing the regulations, cutting the regulations off these industries, we can actually start moving forward and really growing our energy economy and making real prosperity for America. When oil is cheap, when gas is cheap, when heating fuel is really such a key element, is cheap. And frankly, a lot of our power plants, you guys, they run on these fuels. You know, we still have these plants that run on fossil fuels. So, that's great, actually, because it's one of the most efficient ways to have energy we have come up with yet in modern times still. And it gets more efficient and cleaner all the time by innovating technologies. So great. But we certainly, whenever you have more of something, whenever we pull more oil out of the ground, more coal out of the ground, more natural gas out of the ground, we actually then have a better energy market. Things get cheaper. Okay. So it gets cheaper to warm your home. It gets cheaper to drive your car. It gets cheaper to ship your goods to the grocery store, which means that the goods get cheaper. Everything gets cheaper when we have better energy. When we have more energy. So that is only begun because the regulations and I was just talking, it's funny, there was one gentleman in a cowboy hat you could point him out from the whole room because he had a big cowboy hat. And I spoke with him, and he was from Oregon. He was from Lucas Oil in Oregon, and he worked in the oil fields out there. And he was sure to tell me it was not the granola side of Oregon. He was very pointed to point that out to me. It was a very funny moment. So we were talking with him, and he was saying exactly what I keep saying to you, that the energy boom has only begun because it takes a minute to ramp up. After these regulations are removed, it takes a minute to find the funding, get the crew, get the equipment, get everything and ramp up production. That takes a minute, but it's coming. And that increase in energy supply is going to be so amazing to our economy, you don't even know. So, excellent point by the president, talking about energy, talking about all the companies coming back. I know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Mary. That's the granola side. He talked a lot about products. I love how they're going to be talking about this. His promise, I knew there was some things. Did I tell you? I told you yesterday. I said, there's going to be some little things we don't know yet, that Trump is going to throw in there that we don't know he's thinking about. We don't even know he's planning on that. And his promise to lower prescription drug costs in this country was exactly that moment. I heard that and I said, wow, no one's been talking about that, but I do remember you mentioning it in the campaign. I know, Yvette. I know. I remember Trump mentioning in the campaign his desire to help bring down the cost of prescription drugs. And you guys, I wanted to point out, we have left healthcare on the table still. The first thing Trump ran on so much of his campaign was build a wall, repeal and replace. We've stopped saying repeal and replace because the Republicans failed us on repeal and replace, as we all know. We tried for several months to get healthcare reform, and they couldn't do it. We had to use the tax bill to end the individual mandate. So, still, the healthcare issue is still on the table. It still hasn't been handled yet. Trump, by mentioning the desire to bring down prescription drugs, okay, he's slipping back in the back door of the healthcare issue. Bring up healthcare again, but in this angle that everyone can relate. Let's just talk about bringing the drugs down. How about we just talk about bringing the drugs? The art of the deal on this president is, he's freaking Yoda. Not the same thing at all. He's Yoda of the deal. I love watching him because he sneaking back in the back door. I'm seeing him sneaking in the back door. That would be really funny if Nancy Pelosi's dentures were somebody else. If she lost hers and she's been wearing the wrong pair just because nobody wanted to tell her. Maybe her office. Doesn't she seem a little bit like the kind of person that she's so obnoxious. Even if you had to be nice to her, you might find ways to try to mess with her a little bit, like to mess with her mind. Like you might lose stuff for her accidentally and then tell her, no, I didn't see it, like, and totally blame it on her. Just kind of mess with her head because she makes you so crazy. Like she just seems like that kind of person. Like you might be secretly mean to her if you work for her. So if I were Nancy, change that face every now and then. Like smiles. I don't think she can smile. I think the doctor I think the work that has been done has made it impossible. So I loved the moment where Trump talked about the lowering the drug costs, rebuilding industries, rebuilding infrastructure, and I love this. He's talking. Do you remember this? Oh, he's talking about infrastructure, and all the money he wants to spend on infrastructure, and he gestures his hand out to the Democrats, like, this is what you guys want. Hey, I'm literally, here I am, talking to you guys about what you guys want. Democrats. Just kind of sad. So many good things in the speech about that. Cutting regulations, and then goes right into, from here, let's build all this stuff, right into open borders, right into the drugs and the gangs and the violence. He did a great job, in my opinion, of weaving the policy points of the speech in between the emotional points, in between the introductions and the individuals. It was actually such a nice flow. I think that's why it was hard for them to stay seated the whole time, because it was Trump did a very good job. His speechwriters did a very good job. I'm sure he worked with several speechwriters. So excellent. And I love this moment. He said, listen, you remember this. He said, tonight I'm calling on the Congress to finally close the deadly loopholes that have allowed MS-13 and other criminals to break into our country. Beautiful. We have proposed new legislation that will fix our immigration laws and support our ICE and Border Patrol agents so this cannot ever happen again. Yeah. Oh, so good. The moment this moment here, well, let's just read this whole paragraph because this is one of the best moments of the speech. He says, the United States is a compassionate nation. We are proud that we do more than any other country to help the needy, the struggling, and the underprivileged all over the world. But as President of the United States, my highest loyalty, my greatest compassion, and my constant concern is for America's children, America's struggling workers, and America's forgotten communities. I want our youth to grow up to achieve great things. I want our poor to have their chance to rise. So tonight, I'm extending an open hand to work with members of both parties, Democrats and Republicans, to protect our citizens of every background, color, religion, and creed. My duty and the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, called them all out, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream, because Americans are dreamers too. Right? I don't know who wrote that. If that was the president, great job. If that was your president's speechwriter, great job. President Trump delivered it beautifully. Brilliant. And then right into another introduction. You see what I'm saying? Boom. It was masterful work. And then the pillars, I loved the pillars of the plan. Do you guys remember the pillars of the plan? The first pillar is the plan that he talked about. The first pillar is to offer a path to your problem, Democrats. As we talked about. The second pillar secures the border. The third pillar ends the visa lottery. The fourth and final pillar ends chain migration. They're never going to go for this. But he outlined it in the State of the Union address. Still in the moment, as I said, what did I say yesterday? I love that he does. I love that my president does the things that I think he's going to do, because it's so consistent. He's understandable. I get what he's doing. And I said yesterday that he's going to keep negotiating the art of the deal, this immigration deal, even in the speech. And here he is. Here are the 4 pillars. And he puts what the carrot first. You know, you lead with the carrot. Still the stick. Puts the carrot first. It's the first pillar. How can the Democrats not respect that it's the first pillar and he's trying to come together? We won't. We won't. The 4 pillars represent a down the middle compromise and one that will create a safe, modern, and lawful immigration system. So he just takes all of the rational voters off the table with right there. Trump is willing to negotiate. He is making a down the middle compromise. He is bringing both sides' interests together, and he's solving the problem of these young people. We're not kicking out the good young people who are working hard, right? But it's not going to happen. Right to this moment, kicking them in the butt. Loved this speech. Loved this speech. He talked about the opioid addiction problem, huge problem. It's a critical problem when you relate that to the open border, to the gang cartels, illegal drugs, and now illegally obtained prescription drugs are big business for gangs now too, you guys. It's not just little old ladies selling a few pills to their neighbor. Yeah, Mary, I utterly agree with that statement. She says, the State of the Union was his best chance to speak unfiltered to the resisting Americans who only ever hear fake news. He used the opportunity brilliantly. Yes. And many will tune him out and won't have listened at all. But any who have listened will have seen a very diverse, it's impossible to maintain the left's narrative of the president in light of this speech. It really is. So, and then this is the artful moment. He talks about the opioid addiction and what he's doing and what law enforcement is going to be doing, and then goes right into, a family, a guest who's experienced that. He was so artful in talked about extinguishing ISIS. I loved when he called out Mad Dog because General Mattis, because everybody in the room. Now, in Trump International, with all these different people, all people are in the room standing, everyone's standing. We're watching the 3 TVs and the basketball TV. But we can't hear the basketball TV. We can only hear the president. And everyone at this moment, when he talked about ISIS and he introduced Mad Dog, the whole room was like, yeah. The audience in Trump International applauded and cheered many times at the televisions. Where no one can hear us. We can't. It's a TV. But the room was so moved by the speech many, many times that they were compelled. They were compelled to cheer and laugh and applaud the president, even on the television. So, I love when he had the Bronze Star recipient soldier stand up. Yeah. Excellent. Went right for Guantanamo Bay, right for Gitmo. It was just like, and oh, by the way, I just signed this just outside right now. I just wanted to, Gitmo open. You remember that moment when he was like, yeah, just before I came in. And you have the feeling that he really did that. You have the feeling that there's Trump. He's literally like outside the hall. He's like, you know what? Let's sign that thing right now, so I can say I signed it right now. Or on the ride over. Yes, he mentioned Jerusalem. Loved that moment. That got some great applause in the crowd. Totally. And then he went right. He went right. I love this moment. I barely even, it went by so quick, but let's read it again because I want to talk about this. Last month, I also took an action endorsed unanimously by the Senate just months before I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Great. Shortly afterwards, dozens of countries voted in the United Nations General Assembly against America's sovereign right to make this recognition. Oh, my president. He doesn't even waste a moment to continue foreign policy, which is, UN, we're not playing this game. Listen, American taxpayers generously send those same countries billions of dollars in aid every year. That is why tonight I am asking the Congress to pass legislation to help ensure American foreign assistance dollars always serve American interests and only go to America's friends. I know, right? I know, right, Kim? As we strengthen friendships around the world, we are also restoring clarity about our adversaries. And went on Iran. That is exactly the little kind of things I was talking about that Trump was going to bring up in this speech. Specific little gems that we didn't necessarily know Trump was thinking about. But asking Congress to pass direct legislation that prevents our dollars from going to countries who hate us. Bold on a national political stage, bold on a domestic stage as well. And I love how he has no problem recognizing, standing in front of that body of legislators, he has no problem recognizing he is the leader of this country. He is the leader of these individuals. And that as a leader, you also are a cheerleader, you're an inspirer, you're a nudger, you do all these things. You don't just browbeat and demand and overlord. You motivate as well. That's also a leader's job in our world. That's what a leader does. And there he is. But willing to lead and not certainly to issue direction for both sides of the aisle. I thought that was a great angle to take, especially in a room where you have a lot of Democrats who just don't like you. And sit. Talked about North Korea. That was such a great moment. And Otto Warmblers. How do you pronounce his name? It's right here. Warmbier's parents were there. Another touching moment. A moment that is so tragic because it is merely by the inaction of the Obama administration that young man was not able to survive. Because by leaving him there, by taking no action to defy the Chinese government demand and use any leverage to get him out in any way, despite the utter petty nature of the crimes they were holding him on, and to allow him to experience the kind of torment he did, and then to do nothing in return, all of that is on the Obama. Nothing to get him returned. All of that went on under Obama. Trump came into office in a very short period of time, was able to negotiate and get him free. Unfortunately, it was too late for him to survive. And that's what's so tragic about that story. And I thought even more powerful that Trump had them there. So I loved that moment. And again, even late in the speech, here we are late in the speech, we're still introducing people. He talked about the Statue of Freedom. He talked about the monuments. There's the monument moment. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. And freedom stands tall over one more monument. This capital. This living monument to the American people. A people whose heroes live not only in the past, but all around us, defending hope, pride, and the American way. They work in every trade. They sacrifice to raise a family. They care for our children at home. They defend our flag abroad. They are strong moms and brave kids. They are firefighters, police, border agents, medics, and Marines. But above all else, they are Americans. And this capital, the city and this nation, belong to them. I have to scroll. Our task is to respect them, to listen to them, to serve them, and to protect them, and to always be worthy of them. So great. So great. I love this. It even brings up the art. Americans fill the world with art and music. They push the bounds of science and discovery. They forever remind us of what we should never forget. The people dreamed this country. The people built this country. And it is the people who are making America great again. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. As long as we are proud of who we are and what we are fighting for, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As long as we have confidence in our values, faith in our citizens, and trust in our God, we will not fail. Our families will thrive, our people will prosper, and our nation will forever be safe and strong and proud and mighty and free. Thank you, and God bless America. Amen. Amen. Absolutely phenomenal speech Trump delivered, very well written, very well crafted, very well delivered. The Democrats went wild on CNN right away. Okay, so we're watching the speech in Trump International. Speech done. Trump International, like, turn off the president. We don't want. They're very uptight in Trump International and in Trump Chicago. All the Trump properties, they're really trying to not make that connection between the president and the president's business, because it's very complicated for them legally. And so they you can see they obviously are not trying to be the president's people's hangout, but we hang out there. So, they turn the sound off, and you can see that you can watch CNN. You see them, and they're freaking out. That CNN, they had Fox, they had other Fox, they had two Foxes. You see them freaking out, all spazzing, trying to explain, oh, it was so blandly delivered. You see, they get so mad when he goes off the cuff and gets excited and, like, ad-libs, and then when he doesn't ad-lib, they say he's bland. And frankly, there's no pleasing him anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the people, the people in the room, the people that I experienced, had a massive positive response. And I think that if you listen to that speech, to an average American who isn't a wonk, isn't a super angry Democrat, isn't #resist, if you're not marching around with a vagina on your face, a vagina costume, then you probably watched that speech and were like, wow, there's a lot of good things going on in this country. I feel a little bit better knowing. And a lot of the pundits, even the pundits already from what I've read through earlier, a lot of the pundits even they couldn't disparage the speech, but they were then, but he's going to then go back to tweeting something stupid and it'll be all ruined. Like, Trump had a brief moment of not being a total jerk. That was a brilliant Lincoln or Reagan style finishing. It was very, very dramatic, very building. You could hear the crescendo in the emotion and in the voice. Perfect. This is what speech writing is about. This is what Trump hires the best, and I'm sure it says with assistance by Lori Assia. I don't know who Lori Assia is. I would have to find out who Trump has to help him with his speeches, because I think he keeps it close to the vest. He's very good about that. He's very good about keeping it close to the vest. So, now, here's another great moment, you guys. I just want to talk about it. So, some of the best parts for me for the State of the Union, in any State of the Union, the parts I like to watch some of the most, actually, are the president going in to the room, shaking the hands, their reaction, the people, the lawmakers, the different lawmakers and their reaction. I love watching that part. Equally interesting is watching the leaving, the leaving. When the president is leaving, the shaking hands, and the Democrats are all shuffling out and running the other door. And the president's, glad-hatting all the Republicans, the few brave Democrats. That whole moment. There was a great moment when one of our representatives asked the president, one of the people there asked our president, can we release the memo? Did you see this clip? Did you see this part? Did you see this moment? He asked him, Mr. President, can we release the memo? Could you release the memo? And President Trump said, oh, for sure. It's a given. It's 100%, definitely. And then he pauses, and then he comes back. He's like, you guys would be too mad. You'd be too mad if I didn't. You guys would be really mad if I didn't. The memo is coming. The memo is coming. The memo is coming. We caught it right there. It was just such a beautiful moment. The president, so sincere, so honest, so you could just see the emotion in his, like, he literally looked at this guy like, you think you have to ask me? It was really kind of gangster. It was like such a, you expected this is the kind of line that maybe, what's his face? Why am I forgetting the Godfather guy? Not Al Pacino. I'm totally, unfortunately, blanking on a super famous actor. I totally know who he is. Can't remember. So, but it was sort of like, of course, you come to me, I help you. Was you don't even have to ask. It was like one of those moments when Trump's response, his energy in responding to the question was very much like, oh yeah, dude. He kind of laughed a little bit at the dude, like, dude, You don't even have to ask that. So beautiful. It was almost there. It was almost there. It'll come to me. Don't you hate when your brain like loses that part of it? Loses, like, movies and TV shows and actors. I know all that stuff. I have all of that in my brain stored. But sometimes I lose the key to that file cabinet. And for those of you who might be saying that I'm just getting older, I did it more when I was younger, to be honest. I'm actually much better at recalling information than I used to be. So, just sometimes you blank out. So we can see the Democrats going forward. What I think is we're going to see, and like I said, we need to begin a strategy of finding out who the clappers were, finding out who the people who were approving of what's going on, as far as the issues. There were moments where we saw Marlon Brando. Thank you, Mary. I knew somebody would remember. Yes, Marlon Brando. Because not James Dean. James Dean died, and Marlon Brando lived, and he became what James Dean would have been if he had lived. Marlon Brando. And then he was young, he looked beautiful and young, and then he got older, and he had a very interesting character, but looked very different from when he was young. And yes, his voice, that attitude, it was very Marlon. It was hilarious. It's a great moment to watch our president just openly communicate, and certainly with no fear. You could tell he had no fear in that moment when he was like, oh, of course. He knows the cameras are watching him. The camera is in his face. Do you understand? Like, the cameras are in his face. So he knows. He knows. Send a little message. Rubio is I know about Rubio. He's got problems. It's gang of 8. Isn't he the gang of 8? It's gang of 8, right? It should be a gang of 0. There should be no gang of anybody working against the American people and their right to secure the border. There shouldn't be any of you. It should be a gang of 0, not a gang of 8. You're not working on immigration. You're obstructing. Paul Ryan, I'm sure, was keeping track. I'm sure. And Mike Pence, as always, the same smile. I love actually watching. It's the only time I actually enjoy Paul Ryan, to be honest. This is my favorite time to watch Paul Ryan. Because when Paul Ryan is on, hey, Monica, how's it going? Whenever Paul Ryan is on TV and talking, don't you get a little annoyed? Do you get a little like frustrated? Like, why is he just sounds annoying. Whatever. And sometimes, you know what he's saying, and it's kind of swampy, and you're like, Paul Ryan. But see, at the State of the Union, he can't talk. He talks for a minute, then he can't talk anymore. And he has to sit there quietly and just smile and clap. It's actually my favorite time to watch Paul Ryan. Yeah, Monica, it was a brilliant speech. Totally amazing. We've been looking at pieces of it. We've been reading pieces of it here. Utterly brilliant. Yeah, so Paul Ryan's standing up, and he's really great at that. If we could just get Paul Ryan to come back and do that, because sometimes this isn't one reason we have to make sure we do not get the Democrats back in power in the House, ever. We can't, because I can't have Nancy Pelosi sitting there again, okay? I can't have the pouty going on and then the happy person going. I don't want to go back to that. I want to keep the Mike Pence happy, smiling, standing, and Republican supporting, smiling, smugly, happy, enjoying the president. I want to keep that. That's a fun backdrop. I don't want to mess that up, you guys. So it's important. I know we all should be saying this, Monica. It was such a great moment. We read back through parts of it, and there's so many great moments. It just kept washing you over. That's why I'm reading it again. Just kept washing over you, because you missed the things where he's talking about demanding we cut American aid to countries that hate us. You missed the things where the prescription drug issue, a bunch of different little things. Your ha comment was just, see, you can't laugh. It's spam. Spam is laughter now. Laughter is spam. Mark Zuckerberg, I'm going to have to figure out how to like exercise Zuckerberg. Maybe we need to create like, Facebook priests that can exercise him or something. Go on a whole other level. Like, we're trying to work with algorithms. Maybe it's something else. Maybe we'll just, shake holy water. I don't know. It's hard to know. Facebook is always watching. So, absolutely great stuff coming down the pike. Now, the Democrats, like I said, the memo is going to come out. We're going to have that issue to deal with. It's going to be awesome. By issue to deal with, I mean fun. Watching the Democrats utterly meltdown. Yeah, Monica, Alex has been on ban from sharing to a bunch of, he got in share jail. That's what we call it here at home. We call it share jail. Because you can't share. You can still look at stuff. You still, but you can't share. Sometimes you can still comment stuff, but you can't share. Alex has found that you can comment links. You can go, if you want to share something, you can go to the page, you can get the link and then share it in a comment. That's one way to get around share jail. It's a constant battle. I'm telling you, there's constantly new ways that you find that Zuckerberg is just tweaking a little bit. I wonder what he's going to do, Monica. Do you wonder what Trey Gowdy, Trey Gowdy's got some serious potential. Yeah, it's hard to see. Yes, Alex, I can see your comment. Alex is testing. See? He's testing right now. Can he comment in live? Because he gets in different, you got to constantly test what kind of jail you're in. What kind of Facebook jail you're in. Which is why we have to keep up the fight, you guys. I read, oh, wow, that'd be great. Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is just, I really feel like we should, check her pulse on a regular basis. Is she even still going? I mean, I feel like she could sit there and, obviously she didn't come to the stadium, but if you ever seen her sit now, I feel like somebody could just have, like, you can invite her over for your house at Halloween time and you just put her in a chair in the corner and she'd be a perfect decoration. Very frightening woman. Very frightening, not moving. I would be if I was a family member, I'd be very nervous all the time around her. When she came over to the house, like after Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, she's sitting there, she like falls asleep in the chair. I'd be very nervous every time she falls asleep because she doesn't move. This could be the moment at any time. It'd be very frightening. I feel I'm just gonna, give her family strength to deal with that. See, here's Alex reporting. Alex is on total lockdown today. Censorship is the fascist book way. Anti-evolution of social media. Big fail. Yep. Couldn't share. Yeah, because why? Because why he gets in Facebook jail? Because he shares this broadcast. That's why I tell you all to share. Not that you get in trouble and then go into Facebook jail. I'm sure she does. Monica, I'm sure she has I don't know. I do not resuscitate. She should. She should. But no, they probably want to jack her. If they could put these guys' heads in jars and keep them on that thing, they will. The left is going to do whatever they can to keep as many of their judges in place while Trump is president. Because Trump will turn the court right. He'll definitely bend the court back to the right wing. And they don't want that. They don't want that at all. But, so they're gonna, I think if they could if they could take her skin and put it over a robot frame, they'd do that. We gotta watch out. They could Terminator this whole scenario. And be careful. Keep an eye. Keep an eye. Infinity SN has an ability to download your Facebook info. That's great. Yeah, see, Alex says, they make it possible to share videos with a click, but you do it too much with content like me, yeah, and the algo censor gets on you. Yeah. They do not like this truthful show. It's very frustrating because there's not that many, I don't know why, and the same thing happened when I did Periscope. I'm not finishing my sentence today. I must be thinking very fast. It was so inundated with so many brilliant things the president was talking about. I lap over myself. they really, not a lot of people are watching the show. I mean, some views, but other people get a lot more views. Okay? I'm sure they are hating more. I'm sure they are. Monica, they don't like you at all. So, I get a lot more, but they've always wanted to suppress poor little Suzzanne. Even on Periscope, it was the same thing. Hey, Bobby, how's it going? Even on Periscope during 2016 when I did Trump Talk US on Periscope, 150 episodes. You guys know I did 150 episodes of Trump Talk. During the election time, 150 episodes. And sometimes we'd have, not a huge number of views or a bunch of views. It depends on the day. But they would freeze me up so hard. They would do so many things to keep me suppressed. I was constantly fighting over there. Constantly fighting with Periscope. You'd have to restart the video. And I always thought to myself, why? I'm not getting this many viewers, I mean, Monica will attest to you. Everybody in the movement kind of knows Suzzanne. Everybody doesn't know Suzzanne because why? Because I was up in Chicago. We're holding ground in Chicago. Everybody didn't always know what was going on in Chicago. We try to keep y'all informed and stay connected, but the California Patriots and the East Coast Patriots, you guys, we're certainly doing a lot of stuff that us in Chicago, we're like, hey, up here. And then, of course, the Florida Patriots and the Pennsylvania Patriots, all the Patriots in the states we flipped, they were having a great time because they were getting rallies and all kinds of stuff was going on in there. And we were up in Illinois and we had a rally and Trump came to Chicago and then it was a riot and Trump didn't speak. And we all went home with no rally. And we were like, okay, but Chicago, yay! And the Trump movement was kind of like, yeah, Chicago, like, it's crazy up there. Trump can't even speak. So we got left out. We unfortunately got left out. It was frustrating. But that doesn't mean that they didn't monitor me and keep me down. And I take it as a badge of honor. I think the point of this story is I take it as a badge of honor. That even with the few little people that I get to listen to my poor little show, that they feel it necessary to keep me quiet. And the reason is, I don't talk drama. I don't talk fights. I'm not getting involved. I'm not engaging in all this stuff that they want. I'm talking about what the president is doing and strategies that we need to use to support and maintain our president and his agenda, the agenda we elected him for. And they don't want me to do that. They didn't want me to do that while we were electing the president, and they don't want me to do that now. But I'm going to keep doing it. That's what I'm going to do. Doing it. Because I'm not a bot. I'm not a Russian bot. I'm actually their worst nightmare. A woke AF American. Yes, ma'am, it's where I am. I want everybody to get a chance. I know it does make you feel a little bit important, Kim. A little bit like you're doing something special. So I get up every day, keep working hard, keep moving forward. I want you guys to help me. I know there's only a few people in the room here, but that's all right. People are going to check this video out later. So I need you guys to help me out. As you know, what we do with this broadcast, I've been doing this broadcast and we are being sponsored by Stand with POTUS PAC. I'm chairman of Stand with POTUS PAC. We have some amazing things coming forward. Right now, we are working very hard to have a MAGA lounge at CPAC. So all of the conservatives are going to be coming from all over the country, all across America. We want to have a place for them to get together at CPAC, strategize for the coming primary election season and moving forward in 2018, the midterm elections. We want to bring people together who are already here, already involved in the politics. We want to bring the MAGA people together, give them a place where they can connect. We want to do that at CPAC. In order to do that, you need an organization. You need somebody like Stand with POTUS, okay? Like Stand with POTUS. And we're a PAC. What do? We stand with the POTUS. We stand with the POTUS and the people who stand with the POTUS. We stand with the POTUS. We stand with our president. And we stand with the people who stand with our president. So, we got to raise some money in order to do that. You cannot stand with the president and help people and make America great again. It's not free. That's why I actually have to show you this, because in order to raise money, the FEC requires that I show you this thing. Because I'm not working for any candidates. I am literally working, we are working for one. Little Trumpet, do you know who it is? Trump. It's Trump. We support the president. We support our president. Please give me your help if you can. If you can do nothing else, go to the Stand with POTUS page on Facebook. Stand with POTUS, type it in. Go to our page. Like the page. If you can, go to our donation page. Share that on your page. Go to standwithpotus.com. Share that on your page. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. 5 minutes. You've helped me. So, I appreciate all your time, you guys. We are winning. We are in such a winning mode. I want everybody to feel. Let's breathe in. What's that feeling? That is winning. That is so much winning. You can't even imagine how much winning it is. Because we don't even know how much winning is still coming. We can't even begin to fathom the winning. By next year this time, we're going to be like, wow. We had no idea there was going to be all that win. I mean, we knew there was going to be winning. We knew there was going to be at least some winning. But we had no way to know it was going to be winning. Like, so much winning. We almost get tired of it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I continue to challenge President Trump to try. You try and get me. You try to wear me out from winning. You try to tire me of winning. You try. Sir, I want to challenge you to win so much. I invite you to win so much. Try to wear me out. Try to make me tired of winning. I implore you, President Trump, keep trying to make me tired of winning. Get it done again. Keep going. I'm not tired yet. We have a president who supports our military, supports our veterans, supports our law enforcement, supports the American people, and is making our country great again. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Let your friends know about the show. Like the Trump Talk US page. Like Stand with POTUS page. Heck, like my page if you haven't. I don't know how you're on here if you haven't. And keep on trumping, you guys. That's your girl, Suzzanne Monk. Trumping out.